Hey, what's up? Travel Chronicles, I believe chapter 90. So, got about 10 of these left, and then it'll be done with this project. I may come back for one because I think I'll be done before the end of the basketball season. And this may be the only one for the week. There may be another. There may be a recap of the game tonight, just because this season is crazy. We're going against the defending 5A OVAC champs tonight. And we're the defending 4A OVAC champs, but we lost 4 starters. And I'm not sure where they're at starter-wise and stuff, but I know they had a girl come out in the first game of the season and drop 40. So I think they're probably in a pretty decent spot. I don't remember anything about us playing them last year because I didn't follow it that closely. I never saw that game if we did. Usually we play Indian Creek though, because they're about a half hour away. They're not too far. Right now it's winter break, so you can play whenever. It's not that big of a deal. You can play whoever, however far away. We're coming off of a loss on Saturday. Lost by 20 or 19, something like that. It was like 55-36, something. And it was bad, right? And it upset me. Like, I was really upset Saturday morning. I was upset before the game, though, because I was sitting there Friday night, and Elijah and I were watching the WVU game. I wasn't really paying that close of attention to the stuff going across the bottom, but I knew like that Saturday was going to be championship football Saturday for the different college conferences, the Big 10, the Big 12, SEC. All those conferences were going to play their championship game the next day. And I wasn't really paying that close of attention to times or anything. But WVU game finishes, go to bed. I wake up about 6:37 in the morning, and I'm sitting there going, they moved that basketball game because of Ohio State football. That's what they did. Because the game was scheduled to start at 11, right? And during the week we were joking because the other team doesn't have a reserve team. They only have 7 or 8 girls. I think they only had 7 play and dress and play. So you got 7 girls on your roster. They can't play a reserve game. And it was like, well, let's move the game up an hour to 10. I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, hey, the reserve game was going to start at 11, but since we don't have reserve, let's play at 10. Okay. Because I wasn't thinking about it. Well, somebody did. Somebody did. Because Saturday morning I wake up and I'm like, we moved that game because of that football game. Because that football game kicks off at noon. So if we play at 10, then we'll be done by noon. But I don't know at that point who asked for the game. I still don't know who asked for the game to be changed. But here's the problem, right? Any Martins Ferry team in a stick and ball sport, this is not cross country. Like cross country, get up at 8 o'clock, run and do probably better than they would if they ran at 12. The later they run the work. What the heck? You idiot. What an idiot. This is a green light. Like they put a new light in on Route 7 to get off the ramp to go across the bridge. It's so stupid. It's stupid. Like, this is the dumbest place ever to put a light in. Like it hasn't had a light for I don't know how long. There's been literally nothing change, and all of a sudden now we need a traffic light. And I got idiots sitting there at a green light. Anyway, back to the game. So I've never seen a Martins Ferry team, besides cross country, play any good before noon, right? Basketball, baseball. I don't know about football. I don't know about that. But basketball, baseball, softball, stick and ball sport, they're horrid before noon. Like, and any coach or athletic director, needs to know, you should know this. at this point, if it's not an individual sport, if it's like a cross country, a wrestling, maybe even a swimming, like you could have kids show up and do well, right? And I'm not saying like every kid's bad. You may have 2 or 3 kids be fine playing that early in the morning, but just overall, your team is not gonna do well playing that early in the morning. And I don't know what it is, but it's just like it does not agree at all with the kids from that area. And so you got to know your team, know your kids from that area. So we're going to play a game at, instead of 11, we're going to move it up an hour. So that's even worse, right? And I told the athletic director before the game, I was like, I've never seen Martin's Ferry team play well before noon. I said before 11. Maybe I did say before 11. Trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. But it's noon. It's before noon. And I don't know if it just don't go to bed. They stay up a little later because they're in the big city. I don't know. It's not that big, but it's consistent. Like they're consistently bad before noon. Now, if you were playing a game at like 10 o'clock at night, I'd bet on them all day, right? Like, okay, yeah, Martin's Ferry's going to win that game. However late you want to play, Martin's Ferry's got the advantage because they can go late. But getting up early that's a rough one. And I'm not saying like 10 o'clock is super early, but like you got to get up, you got to get dressed, you got to get warmed up, you got to be ready to, you got to be in a mental state to play a game at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's not them. I mean, if it was an away game where you're up, you're on the bus, you got a chance to get more focused, it may be better. But at home, oh, that was bad. We get beat by 20. And I'm upset because we moved the game up because somebody wants to go watch football. So the problem here is it's twofold, right? It's a lack of focus, and it's a lack of knowing the team, right? So maybe you haven't been around the Ferry sports, and you're okay with schedule changing because you just don't know that the kids are not very good before. Maybe they used to be good, but they're like not now. Like in the last 10 years, like no. Like I have not seen them do well at all. Like this age group, that's in high school right now, I have not seen them do well at any sport before noon. Girls or boys. So, maybe they don't know that. Fine. The lack of focus though, because if you're committing to moving a basketball game, to watch football, then you are not committed to your basketball game. Right? Now, if River's the team that called and said, hey, can we move that game up? Ohio State's playing. We're traveling. It'd be nice for us, for the fans. And they had like literally 10 fans in the stands. Okay, so there's not a lot of people traveling to this game at 10 in the morning. All right, and you got 7 girls on the bench and like 3 or 4 coaches. And that's like the whole contingent here traveling is less than 25 total. Maybe 30 people, right, are going to be out because you're moving a game an hour. Right? It's ridiculousness, right? If we're the ones that moved it, and you could come into your team and say, look, they want to play at 10 instead of 11 because they want to watch football. Our priority is basketball, all right? They want to move it so they can watch football. That's fine because they're not focused on the game. I want to be focused on the game, so we're going to move it up. We're going to play when they want to. We're going to be focused on winning basketball, right? You can take that and use that as motivation for your team. If we're the ones that did it, then the other team gets to use that as motivation, right? Or just the overall lack of where's your priorities coming into this game, right? Like if your priorities, I got to get home so I can watch a college football game, and it's not to, be present in a high school girls varsity game, you're going to lose. You have the wrong mental state. You're not focused on that game. You're focused on what you can do so you can watch football, right? That's where your focus is on the football game, not on the basketball game. You're not going to win a game when you're not focused on that game. That being said, that morning, Did I read that tweet first? I can't remember. No, I don't think. Like, the coach tweeted out, because this was probably around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, that big game today. No, not talking about Ohio State. At Lady Rider Hoops or something, has a game against River at 10 a.m. So, this is the head coach, but the first thing that he tweets is, "Oh, you thought I was talking about Ohio State." No. I could care less about Ohio State. I care about my daughter's basketball team, right? So, the game itself, why did we lose by 20? It was a 1-point game after one quarter, right? We played even coming out of the gate, but we didn't sub. We can hang with anybody for a quarter. I think the UL game was a 2-point game. We can hang with anybody for a quarter. Our girls get tired quick. They do. For whatever reason, we can't see it, and we can't sub to get girls fresh. And it's not they're just dragging so bad they can't do anything type of tired. It's shots are coming up just a little short, or just a little, they just don't have quite enough lift. The ball's it's coming off a little flat now instead of up in the air. The shots just aren't falling from anywhere except layup range. And it's every game. We're 7 games into the season, and win or lose, with some of the wins, we've actually subbed or used timeouts to stay fresh, and it's worked out. Or we just, kind of out-talented the other team. But you got 4 girls that never started before, and, to me, it's kind of like, why don't we build for the next 2 years and, put these sophomores in, put these freshmen in? Because the goal right now is, if it's not to win in March, it should be to win in March next year. Period. I don't care if we win a game against, and this is a perfect example, because River they're not in our league, and I don't think they're in our division of the OVAC, right? And they're lower than us. So this is a great game to come out and, experiment a little bit, put some subs in, do some different stuff. Plus, it's early in the morning. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. So we go 6 minutes, we don't sub. Then one of the first girls we sub in is a girl that hasn't played in 2 weeks. Is a freshman that hasn't played in 2 weeks, coming off the bench. But you've got 2 other girls behind her that played in the last game. They give you good minutes. The one girl's giving you good minutes in 3 or 4 varsity games. We're bypassing her now to go back to a freshman I haven't played in 2 weeks. And the freshman's good. She's athletic. She's missed 5 games. It's how is that all right, you're in first. I understand you want to ease her back in. There's no reserve game today to kind of ease her back in. But I don't know that you come off the bench with her first, right? I appreciate the mentality of, well, you're not going to lose your job because of injury, right? But you also have to understand situationally, okay, there's no reserve game. Today's a really bad game for you to come back in, because we can't let you get your legs underneath you in a reserve game, get into the flow of basketball a little bit, and you've had 1 practice. So to me, that's you're not playing today. I appreciate that your injury's over. We'll use you if we need you, but we're going to go with the other girls first, and you're maybe 9th off the bench. You're not off, 9th in the rotation. Just explain it to her. I appreciate you coming back. I appreciate you coming. You have practice. Not a chance to get you in a reserve game. You're gonna wait. You're gonna wait again if you can. Nope. First thing, send her out. She's not doing well, and I think she may have injured herself again. Keep sending her out. 3rd quarter. The 1st quarter, we wait till 5 minutes in, we sub 2, or 6 minutes into the game, we sub 2. I can't remember exactly what we did the 2nd quarter. I think we subbed a little bit because some of the girls were not playing very well, before noon. I'm going to attribute it to that anyway. come out of halftime. I think they go on a run, or we're making mistakes, something. About 4 minutes in, 4.5 minutes in, we take a timeout. We go 2 subs because the coach is yelling and screaming at the girl. Like, one girl has missed a couple of close shots. Now, what she got fouled on, right? She's going to the foul line. He's like, if you missed another shot, you're coming out. Like, she got fouled. Like, there's a reason she missed. She missed because the girl hit her hand. Like, I don't care who you are. If somebody's hanging on your arms or something, you're going to miss. You're going to miss that shot. I don't agree with yelling at a kid for that either. Like, you can yell at a kid, like, for an assignment. You know, get here, set that screen, watch the corner. You know, that makes sense, yelling as a coach for them to do a particular job. Yelling at somebody because they missed that's the wrong thing to yell at somebody for. She already knows she missed, okay? That's where you get kids to start check out mentally when you yell at them like that. And what she did? She did. Because she didn't do much the rest of the game. So in the third quarter, we call out timeout. 2 subs in. The freshman's back in. They play for about 30 seconds. They do something wrong. Another timeout. They're back out of the game. Starters are in now. And I believe the starters played. And he may sub one of the 6th person back in the fourth, like a little bit. But they played until about 3 minutes left, and we're down by 20. And it's like, look, if the starters aren't getting it done, you got to go to the bench. Right? And your best bet in some of these games is go to your bench early, let your starters rest, then let them come in and see if they can't dig into that lead a little bit off of some rest. But it's just, I just do not get the Martins Ferry mentality for basketball of, well, I only have 5 people. You know, if I'm allowed 5 people, I'm going to put my best 5 out there the whole time. Okay, they're your best 5 starting out maybe 100%, and on any given night, but not every night. And when they get tired, and especially when you get to 80, 90%, there's some girls on the bench that are just as good as your starters. So the coach is yelling, throwing a fit the whole game. Because apparently this is what he got criticized for from some of his he coached he coached before, and then he coached last year, was his first year back, right? These people are like, oh, you're soft now. It's like, that's a different team. Like, these girls haven't played. Like, he had girls that started for 3 years with that other team. It's like, it's go time because you're seniors. Like, you got to go because that's your last chance. Now you've got girls that are coming in. It's like, you don't need to yell at these girls like that because they've got 2 years. And this is their first start. They haven't started for the last 2 years. Now they're juniors. That's why it's so important to have a rotation. You know, 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in, all right, you're subbing out. Other girl, you're going to play the next 3 minutes, but I'm going to sub the starter back in after 2 minutes, okay? And she can set, 2 minutes into the next quarter. And then at the end of the half, high school game, I want my best 5 on the floor for the last 2 minutes. But I got to work out that rotation, 6, 7, 8, working them in to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some rest. So I come back at 2 minutes. My best 5's on the court. They're rested enough where they're going to be the best 5 for the next 2 minutes. And that's how I'm going to play, unless somebody's in foul trouble. But, we've lost 3 games. 1 game was an inevitability. 1 game we lost because we didn't sub. And today we lost because it wasn't our focus. Our focus wasn't to win. It was to go watch a football game. Period. That's the way I look at it. So 2 losses have been on the coach. 1 loss is just the other team is that much better. I would say we're probably going to lose tonight because I think the Creek team is more talented. But we'll see. Who knows? They're high school kids. Anybody can have an off night, right? Maybe they hate playing on Mondays. I don't know. All right. That's all I got. I'll see you later. Be careful. Stay COVID free.